Mizzurna Falls is a 1998 open-world horror mystery thriller developed by Human Entertainment. The plot is incredibly ambitious, especially for the time that the game was made in. It's a game that I think that you should definitely play, but I understand if you haven't. It's a PS1 game, and it's an open-world PS1 game. It's pretty good, but it's incredibly obtuse. It doesn't control very nicely, and it has some extremely harsh time limits on everything. The game consists of 7 days, and you need to be doing specific things during those 7 days at specific hours, or else you'll just trigger the bad ending. So it's not a great player experience, and I get that. But I think it's a story that everyone needs to know about, because this game deals with some stuff that you don't see other games deal with, even today. So this is a video for all of you that will never play it, because this is Mizzurna Falls Explained. Matthew wakes up bright and early. A bear has been spotted in the forest where Emma and Kathy were supposedly attacked, and Morgan has organized a hunt for it. Morgan obviously won't allow Matthew to join them, but Nos is keen on having him there for his first bear hunt, so Matthew shows up at 7 AM to sneak in before Morgan shows up. One of Morgan's deputies is already there, but he has to piss so bad due to the waterfall nearby making a very loud sound mimicking running water, so he abandons his post and Matthew uses the opportunity to run past him and join the hunting party, consisting of Morgan, Nos and Cohen. Morgan insists that it's too dangerous, but Nos insists that it's not, and Morgan gives up and lets him tag along. The four split up and Matthew tags along with Cohen. They pass by where he found Kathy, and he explains that when he found her, there was a ring of fire around the tree where she was at, and that the whole thing looked like an altar of some sort. As they're examining the claw marks that something left behind, they hear a gunshot, and a little way in the distance, they find a deer without a head, and then the head seems to get thrown at them. And then a bear jumps out of nowhere and attacks Cohen. At Cohen's insistence, Matthew runs away and seeks shelter at a nearby cabin where he fetches a gun. It is out of shells, and he smashes the ammo cabinet's glass window and gets some and reloads the gun, and then as he does, the bear comes crashing through the door and Matthew starts firing. The bear goes down, and after Matthew takes a few moments to compose himself, he looks the bear over and finds a strange necklace attached to it, a tribal necklace, probably of Native American origin. Cohen is rushed off to the hospital and Matthew heads to Kathy's funeral. At the service, something happens. Someone that Matthew and Winona doesn't know is here, which in a town of 2,000 people doesn't happen a lot. Especially not when the town is currently cut off from the outside world due to a rock slide. As they are talking about the mysterious woman, she approaches them and asks if they were friends with Kathy, and they reply no, and she says that she figured as much, and then walks off. Winona and Matthew ask Father Burton about the woman and where she lives, and he says that they should stay away from her, and that he doesn't know her address or what part of town she's from. Matthew was trying to go see Cohen earlier, and the old woman that hangs around the hospital said that she would tell him a secret if he bought her some cigarettes. So he heads back into town but stops by the diner first for breakfast, and asks Lorraine about the motel room that Mel is renting. She had no idea that he was renting a motel room, and no clue as to why, since he lives in town. On his way to the hospital with Barbara's cigarettes, Matthew stops by Emma's house and he tells Sarah that he doesn't think Emma was killed by the bear that attacked Kathy, and she seems to liven up a bit and allows him to take a look at Emma's room. In her bathroom he finds a ring with the initial I, and in her bedroom, hidden under a vase, he finds a mysterious key that Sarah doesn't recognize. He asks Winona about it and she says that it looks like a key to one of the lockers at school, but that now is not the time to go and check it out, which confuses Matthew, but he agrees to save it for another time. As he's leaving, Matthew chats up Steve and he asks if he thinks Emma knew Kathy like in a friend way, and Matthew says that he doesn't. Steve mentions that he once saw Mel and Kathy outside the bar and thought it to be a strange coupling. Their conversation is then suddenly interrupted when Sarah screams from upstairs someone has broken into Emma's room, or at least she thinks that someone has broken into Emma's room. Morgan is summoned and doesn't find any signs of a break-in, but Sarah swears that she felt someone in there and that the window was open, which it wasn't when she was last there. Matthew and Sarah head upstairs to check, and they find that the drawer where Emma kept her diary is open and that there is no diary inside. When Matthew heads outside to check for signs of a break-in, he runs into the neighbors, who tells him that he should go ask a very nosy old man that lives in town about what he knows. The old man, Mr. Perry, says that he saw someone leave the house and that he was dressed like Jason Voorhees and that he left on a motorcycle that he has seen outside the diner many times. That sounds like someone we know. Having his suspicions that it's Mel that the old man is talking about, Matthew heads home and takes a nap and then heads to the cemetery where he knows Mel will be later. Mel is meeting with the bald guy that Matthew saw him get antagonized by at the bar yesterday, and the bald man asks about the money that Mel owes. Mel assures him that he'll have it by noon tomorrow, and the bald man accepts this arrangement, but threatens him that he better have it or else someone is gonna be pissed. And he's not gonna be as nice as the bald man is. Matthew follows Mel, and Mel heads into the diner. Here, Matthew overhears him talk about a plan with someone. The someone is afraid that something is gonna go wrong, but Mel assures them that it's all gonna be fine if they just keep the customers calm. A lot of townspeople have mentioned that the otherwise pious Kathy has been spotted at the Wolves bar many times, and when Matthew goes there he sees Father Burton lurking around outside, and when Matthew asks Wolf about it, he says that yeah, Kathy, she comes here, and that there's someone else that also comes here that she's friends with, and that's probably the woman from the funeral, Loretta. When Matthew shows him the ring with the eye on, Wolf says that he better put that away, and that it's a symbol that bad people use to identify each other. And speaking of eye, the bar singer Isabella comes out on stage and says that she won't be performing tonight for personal reasons and that she'll be back tomorrow. Matthew wonders about the singer's name and the initial on the ring, but then decides to call it a day as she's not singing and not taking visitors. And on his way out he runs into Father Burton. Matthew has learned that the necklace they found on the bear was a necklace that Kathy had been seen wearing around town, and when Matthew asks why Kathy, a devout Catholic, would be wearing a sacred Native American necklace, Burton dismisses it as just some knick-knack that he found in the church basement, and that Kathy took a liking to it. He says that she stopped wearing it a while ago and that she gave it to someone who needed it more. Matthew mentions that they found the necklace on the bear, and Burton gets flustered and says that someone must have given it back just before she unfortunately died. On the drive back to the shed behind Noss's store, Matthew wonders if the someone that needed the necklace more is the person that Kathy referred to as the devil, and if Burton was completely truthful about the necklace.